Oh, I really, really, really should have resigned, or at least started looking for another job the moment we got promoted. This can only end in a sacking or relegation. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 17 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we are at home against Blyth Spartans and then away against Barrow, both in the National League. And that's the National League that we haven't won a game in yet, 6 games in. If we have a look at the league table, we've scored 4 goals, conceded 12. We lost our first 5 games on the bounce. We managed to scrape a draw in our last game. But, I mean, it does not look pretty at all. It's going to be a mess. And that was all with trying the 4-4-2. In fact, I think the first couple were 4-4-2. Then we tried a 4-1-4-1. So we've got a decent defensive midfielder this year, and it seems sensible to use him. That wasn't working either. And the draw that we managed to scrape, and in fact, I say scrape, we actually played really well. Can we see the stats? How do we see the stats? Match stats. So we had a whole bunch of shots, a lot of them on target, decent amount of possession. This was with a new system that I don't think I've ever used in Football Manager before. A 3-1-4-2. And we came to this because I basically had a look down my squad to see where our best players were. And everyone's pretty good, apart from our fullbacks. And our fullbacks are just rubbish. They can only play as defensive fullbacks, so they can't play the way I want them to play. And they're not very good at it. So I thought, you know what? Let's just add an extra central defender in and kind of adjust the 4-1-4-1 that we were using to get a second striker up front again and hopefully start scoring some goals. And if we concede a few down the side, we concede a few down the side. We've made Rowe on support just like Otim rather than on attack, so he won't be up here quite so much. But yeah, we're going to have a few gaps here. But we've got an extra central defender in there. We've got a defensive midfielder in there. It seemed to work in the last game. It probably won't work. I mean, we'll probably get absolutely thumped. We're going on control and flexible. There's no team instructions because I might add some when we decide we need them. But at the moment, we're still figuring out a shape and player instructions that we're going to use. Once we've got that sorted, we can then tweak it with some team instructions. That's the thinking at the moment. So this is the team we're putting out there. We've got Biddle in goal, a back four of Crozier, Chambers and Stone with Kaduba as our defensive midfielder. Rowe, Isaac, Stevens and Otim across the midfield, and Pope and Robles up front. Robles is really the only player who's scoring for us at this level. 3 goals from 4 games so far, and he's actually had quite a decent start to life in the Conference National. So, and that was some of that was playing up front on his own, which he's really not very good at doing. I think to be fair, he was only up front on his own once, and he was just absolutely terrible. So we dropped him for the 2 games I think that we were experimenting with the 4-1-4-1. And he was the man we brought back in when we sacrificed our fullbacks, and it seemed like a perfectly good trade to lose 2 fullbacks but gain Lewis Robles. So we need to be keeping a close eye on our defensive shape today. And if it looks like teams are getting around the back of us because we've got no one there defending, then we're probably going to have to make an adjustment and abandon this experiment. But really, this whole season, if we manage to stay for the full season, and I don't think I'm going to get fired, the board are looking for us to battle bravely against relegation. So even if we get relegated, I don't think I'll be fired. But Chambers has just scored. It's 1-0. Goodness me, we're winning a football match. I am hoping we move on to a bigger and better club at some point during this season. That's the plan, because ultimately this group of players, they are the best players we can afford to bring into Bath. We have maxed out our wage budget, our tiny, tiny wage budget, and the players are just not as good as the other players in this league. So we're going to struggle for as long as we're here. But Robles is in behind here. We've gone 2-0 up after 12 minutes. 3-1-4-2. It's the formation of the future, everybody. And not only are we 2-0 up, we're 2-0 up and we've been playing really well. This is like the reverse of the whole of last season, where we've just lost and lost and lost when you weren't looking. Now you lot turn up and suddenly we're playing good attacking football for the first time at this level. I hope we can just maintain it for the entire match. We've had 7 shots already. We're controlling possession. Blyth haven't had a shot on target yet. It couldn't be going any better. Why have we got match stats on there twice? That's not what we normally have. What do we normally have there? Latest scores? We'll put some latest scores on there. Obviously, we're still presumably down in the relegation zone. Yes, we are. There you go. It's behind my head, but we are still in the relegation zone. Crozier to Rowe. Rowe's dropping nice and deep. I like having Kaduba in there. Kaduba, he's kind of... I've talked about the weakness of the fullbacks and blah, 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 blah. The real reason we've adjusted the formation is because Kaduba is so good as a defensive midfield player, but that's pretty much all he can do. So we needed a system where we could play with a defensive midfield player. But Robles is our best striker, but can only play with a man alongside him. So if there's a better option we could have done, I'm all ears. But this seemed like a sensible formation to land on. And, I mean, to be 2-0 up at half-time, I don't know where Blyth Spartans were in the league before we kicked off. Not far above us, really. But I'll take that as that's a spot-on first half. Those of you who've been around for a while will know that in our relegation battling seasons, we operate on what's called the Kev ratio, where our goal for the season is to get as many points as we play games. So we are well behind on the Kev ratio. Even if we end up winning today's game, what a goal from our centre-back who never should have played. I said in the last episode, I think, that we'd brought him in. We were probably never going to play him. But he's just hit an absolute cracking effort there. It's taken a big deflection, but still. 3-0. But as I was saying, on the Kev ratio, we've got 4 points from 7 games. So we need we need a win and a draw in our next couple of games to maintain the Kev ratio or get back to the Kev ratio. By the way, new screen, like the new screen. The one thing I don't like about this new screen is that when I hover on a player like that, it doesn't highlight who can come on for them. So I'm still going to click through here. Nice try, Football Manager. Not quite what I was looking for. Rittenberg can come on for Pope. We'll bring Clutton on for Stevens. I mean, it's 2 pretty straightforward substitutions there. We've got the fullbacks on the bench in case we need them. I can't imagine they're going to be coming on. So I think what I might have to do is stop playing a substitute keeper, because I'll probably still keep having the fullbacks on the bench, but we probably need a third substitution to make when we're not changing the fullbacks. We've had 17 shots and only 5 of them have been on target. I feel like... Here you go, Kev's. I'm doing proper tactics. I've been paying attention to some of these blogs that are out there. I think what I need to be doing as a result of that, tweaking my tactic according to what I see on the stats, that suggests we probably need to work the ball into the box. For I've had 18 shots and only 5 are on target, that means we're shooting too early. Let me know in the comments if my logic is wrong. But I think for the next match, we'll turn on, work the ball into the box, and see what happens. If we end up not having any shots at all, then we'll take it off again. But it's quite nice, in a way, having the pressure off. Was Rittenberg onside there? He was played onside, I think. It is 4-0. This is absolutely not what I expected when I turned the camera on for this episode. And it's that guy who's out challenging Robles who's played him onside. Oh, he's going to be in trouble because he ran across rather than just stepping up and running across. That was just a rookie mistake. And 4-0. 4-0 will do nicely. Another couple of these and we can forget about finding a new club. We'll just stay with Bath forever. We're not going to stay with Bath forever. Don't worry. But there you go. Oh, I was going to say they're getting in behind us, but Rowe had made it all the way back to cover and done really well. I mean, 5 stars. Doesn't get any better than that. What? You lot stick around for every match from now on. We might make this a stream save. So the only change for the Barrow game is we've turned on work ball into the box as an instruction. I'm toying with the idea of maybe dropping back to a standard mentality because we're at home. Because we're away. But Barrow are 18th in the league. They're they're not really any better than us. And we played so very well in that last game on control. So as part of Kev Does Tactics and this learning experience that we're on, this learning journey, that I'm on, we're going to leave it on control. If we get absolutely battered, then we know that we perhaps don't go into away games on control anymore at this level, despite the fact we did it all last year and all the year before. And it didn't do us any harm in the long term, really. But we were always one of the favourites to get promoted out of that league, whereas things are a little bit different for us now. The one other thing we've done as well is we've made that adjustment to the bench that I talked about before. So Spyrides comes onto the bench as an extra striker, and we've dropped the goalkeeper. So we've got a striker, 2 fullbacks, a midfielder, and another striker on the bench. So if we get a centre-back injury, we pretty much have to go to a back four. An injury to a centre-back means 2 players come on, or even a poor performance from a centre-back. Probably didn't need 2 strikers on the bench, thinking about it. Or maybe we need a striker who can play full-back. I defend a full-back who can play centre-back, or a centre-back who can play full-back. Although really, Chambers, we played most last year as a right-back for us, so we probably wouldn't need to make 2 substitutions unless he's the defender who has to go off. Right, we have only had 1 shot in the first half hour of this game. We're going to give it until half-time as long as we don't concede. I am feeling like we might need to turn off work ball into the box. Perhaps we're not quite good enough yet. I'd rather have 20 shots and miss 15 of them than 1 shot. So we'll give it. And do I change it now or do I? I like the flying headers that we've got. No, I want more attacking. I'm taking it off. I mean, that lasted a long time, didn't it? I can hear the groans from the comments now, but 1 shot in half an hour. I don't care that we're not very good, and I don't care that we're away from home. I could never, in good conscience, allow a team of mine to go half an hour and only have 1 shot in that time. It's just not acceptable. I would rather be losing but having had a go at trying to win. Right, Tim is in behind here. Can he whip the crossover? He can, it's Pope! And immediately we take off this work ball into the box nonsense and score instantly. We'd move up to where Barrow are. We move up to 18th place if we hold on to what we've got at the moment. I don't know if I don't know, does work ball into the box stop crosses like that coming in? Because it seems like a logical route towards goal for us. Cross comes in, big lad. Oh, we haven't even made the change. Oh, well, in that case, this changes everything. No, we don't proceed with the tactical change. We'll leave it as it is. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this. But then we have had 4 shots now, so we are getting into the game a little bit more. Perhaps we just needed to get ourselves into the game. 4 shots, only 1 of them on target. Perhaps we're just not very good. But then we've got Robles up front, who scored all those goals for us last year. Pope, who's just scored today. Rittenberg, obviously not on the pitch, but scored an awful lot of goals for us last year. What was that screen? That was... Okay, it wasn't. I thought the half-time screen had changed massively as well. Right, lads, just keep doing what you're doing. Maybe, do we take it down to standard? Not yet. Because what I don't want to do, my fear of adjusting that stuff is even greater because of the fact we've only got 3 defenders. If we drop down to standard or counter-attacking and say, come at us, then they might notice we don't have many defenders. But then at the same time, is that the one I want to do? Team shape? No, I don't want the whole of that to come up. I just want, which is the button that... There you go, standard. We'll go standard, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, they're going to score! And Biddle saves. And that was all a little bit hairy for a minute. I don't remember which button I pressed still. Mentality, that was the one. We'll go into our proper... We're going to go counter-attacking, and I'm probably going to regret it, but this is how you learn. I did try... Oh, there you go. This is what we were saying. An injury to a defender. As long as it's not Chambers, we're all right. It is only a head injury. We have gone counter-attacking. I mean, there's an argument that we do this. Robles isn't playing particularly well. We have a 4-1-4-1 there. If we drop that to counter, get Pope up front, swap those 2 over. We have that ready built, ready to go. Let's turn work ball into the box on because we like that as an instruction. And then give that 10 minutes and see what happens. We've still got 2 strikers on the bench if we need to change things back again. We'll have to go for 4-4-2 if we do because we won't be able to change the defence up again. But Isaac's not playing particularly well. We've got Clutton on the bench who can come on for him. He can't play as a ball-winning midfielder. If we swap those 2 over though, Clutton's always the more attacking of the 2. Stevens... no, I don't want you to defend necessarily. Just do that. In fact, just be a central midfielder. Both of you be central midfielders. We didn't need to swap you over. Let's swap you back again. There we go. And just try and see out the game at this point. I don't really want to drop back further than counter, although maybe I should. Maybe we do drop back to defensive. Oh, I feel like I'm playing the game for the first time. This is a whole new world I'm experiencing. a whole new world that might be about to gift us back-to-back wins in a league that I expected to go the whole season without ever winning. Rowe crosses, and I thought Pope was going to turn that in, and Clutton picks up a midfield. I love the way we're just controlling the midfield. And they've now in behind. We're 20 seconds over the end of the game, officially. Or unofficially, I guess. Oh, Kaduba's injured, and that could be a big problem because we don't really have anyone else in the squad who can do what he does. And if he has a proper injury, then it causes potential problems for us going forward. We've just gone to a team and done an efficient win. It's only 3 shots on target in the whole match, but they've had more possession, more shots. I feel a bit dirty for doing it, but needs must. We've moved out of the relegation zone. Normal service will resume tomorrow, I promise. If you've enjoyed that, I don't know what to make of it. That was so weird. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content, and thank you very much for watching.